Hey, Austinites, did you know that plastic bags and styrofoam cannot be recycled in your blue cart or dumpster? And they can damage recycling equipment, injure workers, and end up in landfills. Now, the good news is that there are easy ways to recycle these items correctly right here in Austin. And recycling the right way just means the material will be used again and won't end up in landfills. Visit austintexas.gov/recycling or download the Austin Recycle app to learn more and connect to your local recycling options. If you own a rental property in Austin, listen up. Being a landlord can feel like a second job, except the meetings are maintenance requests and they usually happen on Saturday morning. Put your rentals on autopilot with Turbo Tenant. Turbo Tenant helps you find and place a qualified tenant by handling the listings, showings, and screening. So all you have to do is review and approve the applicant, and you don't pay anything until a tenant is placed. Once your tenant is in place, Turbo Tenant can also handle rent collection, maintenance coordination, and the day-to-day management. Learn more at turbotenant.com/citycast. Today on CityCast Austin is the Tuesday News Roundup. We're here to talk about the big news that's on our mind from this weekend. We're digging into the data on how Austinites voted in last week's elections. We're bringing you the latest on the West 6th Street shooting, and we're talking about the restaurants worth leaving town for, especially as South by Southwest kicks in. It's Tuesday, March 10th. I'm Nikki Devon, and this is what Austin's talking about. Hello, I am here with our producers, Alyssa Castles and Eva Ruth Morvek. What's up, Alyssa? What's up, Eva Ruth?
Hello. Yo, yo.
Okay, so Alyssa is going to take a quick little break, and then she's going to come back. And for the first story, we are joined by our friend of the pod and my birthday twin, Blaze Gainey, the Texas Newsroom's Capitol reporter based at KUT Austin. What's up, Blaze?
Hey, how's it going? Happy belated.
Hey. I'm still on my birthday high, y'all. So the primary elections last week had a record turnout in Travis County and in Texas overall, at least for the Democratic voters. So I wanted to get into the weeds a little bit more about how Austinites voted in these midterm primaries. So last Tuesday in the open primary elections, and then here in Austin and throughout the state and county, the records, we smashed records, right? So it was like,
right.
Yeah.
Hulk smash. Sorry.
What?
It made me proud.
Blaze, why don't you get into it? Since Eva Ruth is Hulk smashing.
Yeah, I'll take it from here. So, and the turnout in Travis County was good. It ended up around 30% of registered voters, which is pretty high, definitely for a primary. And it wasn't surprising how they voted, mostly for Democrats. I think only about 6% of those voters voted in the Republican primary. That's not surprising at all. The more surprising thing was just the amount of turnout. But I think a lot of that, what we saw around the state, was just because you had a lot of competitive races and also a lot of down ballot races that actually have Democrats and Republicans on both sides of the ticket.
I mean, I guess it shouldn't surprise me, but it kind of surprises me that the Republican numbers weren't larger. I don't know why, but it surprises me.
You know, I think maybe it wasn't that high because maybe some people shifted over to voting for Democrats in the primary because they were more contested of a race. Because
that's where
really
the vote mattered for the primary. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not saying votes on the Republican side didn't matter, but there were more hotly contested races on the Democrat side, mainly in the Senate with State Rep James Talarico and Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. But even on the Republican side, I mean, you had Attorney General Ken Paxton versus sitting incumbent John Cornyn and also Representative Wesley Hunt. So that was competitive as well. But it was likely to go to a runout, which it has. And so now we'll see whether or not Paxton or Cornyn is who will challenge Talarico for that spot. It'll be really interesting. Even the president has weighed in and said like he's going to choose somebody and he wants the other person to drop out. Whether or not that actually happens, we'll see. But Ken Paxton has sort of said, like, I'm not dropping out no matter who tells me to. So,
which I'll be honest, I love that Ken is just like, from my cold dead fingers, I'm not dropping out. Because, I mean, why not? He has nothing to lose. He has nothing to lose, so he might as well stay in.
Nothing to lose or everything to lose, because he gave up his attorney general spot to run for this race. So he's probably like, hey, I ran for this thinking, I was going to run.
It.
I'm not going to be told I'm just going to sit out and watch Cornyn go on to battle Tallarico, when more than likely the numbers show that Paxton would win in a runoff if it gets to the election day in May 26th, because what happens with runoffs is not as many people. So we shouldn't expect, all 6% of those Republican voters to get back to the polls, because that's just sort of how things play out. And so with lower turnout in runoffs, it favors Ken Paxton, who's seen as the more MAGA-like candidate in that race.
I feel like it's desperation almost. Like he has nothing left. Not to be like dramatic, but he is facing this divorce trial, like out of a job. His wife is gone. Things are not looking great.
I mean, I don't want to comment too much on the divorce thing, but I mean, he's getting divorced because he was seeing another woman. So, or at least, probably multiple more reasons, in a relationship that go on. But I'm not a
biblical
not a
reasons.
Therapist.
I will not be commenting.
Exactly. I think in that atmosphere, I think he's actually totally fine, I would guess.
Yeah.
So your prediction is he's not going to go anywhere, and he's going to fight that runoff till May 26th. Yeah,
definitely so. I mean, even polls have shown, even with the president's nomination of Cornyn, that Paxton would still fare really well. They'll still vote for Paxton, even with the Trump endorsement of Cornyn, because they've just sort of said, like, we know our state better than, the guy in Mar-a-Lago or in D.C., wherever you want to place him.
Fascinating.
Man, Texans go Texas.
And honestly, I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. Like, it shouldn't be surprising that an outside person would come in and just choose who wins. That's not necessarily how elections are done, and not how democracy is done. So I think if this race was just going to go straight through without Trump's involvement at all, I think Cornyn would be the one that's more worried. And you can see that. I mean, they're pouring a lot of money into him to try to help him win this race. Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that he had to spend so much money and still has to go on a runoff.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of people were upset with that.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Austin Democrats are at the top of the ballot for November midterms, right? So we got Gina Hinojosa for governor, Sarah Eckhart for comptroller. What do you think their chances are of winning?
Yeah, I mean, these are statewide races. Democrats usually have, like, in the past 30 years have not won a statewide race. It's not like these two candidates are going to win this race on their own. They're going to really need the help of the rest of the Democrats on the ballot to really bring voters out. But this is a year when that could likely happen, I will say. I think if Hinojosa versus Abbott was just on a ballot all by itself, I think Abbott will win easily. He could still win easily, but now with more voters, likely Democrat, coming out to vote for that Senate race with Tallarico, who's, really getting voters to come out that we've probably not seen before. If you're in a small city that's never had a Democrat really run for a race because it's just so Republican dominated, this year they actually have a Democrat on the ticket, so they may be getting out to vote. And otherwise, other years, maybe they stayed inside. And so just that influx of new voters coming to vote could tip the hat in Democrats' favor this election. I'm not saying they run away with all these races, but there is a good chance that we see an upset somewhere along the lines. It's also a midterm election, so it usually there's going to be some upsets for Republicans, which they try to obviously combat with changing the maps over the summer. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's really interesting, and we have a lot of Democrats at the top of the ticket. And I think one big thing would be for Tallarico is whether or not he can garner that same outpour of Democratic votes, definitely among the Black community who like heavily voted for Jasmine Crockett. In his victory speech the other night, he sort of alluded to that, saying, like, I want everybody to feel welcome. I know it was a tough runoff, but, like, I want you all to want to vote for me come November. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to do that. And it seems like Crockett is on board too. She came out and basically said the goal is still to get rid of whatever Republican is in the way of us having a seat. So I think I wouldn't be surprised to see her even join him on the campaign trail or maybe host her own things just to help get out the vote. I mean, I think
that'd be smart.
I agree.
Of him. I mean, to have her on board like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I would imagine like he has enough time right now to help build that up because, right now he's looking towards November while his other opponents are looking towards May. So they have they have to run against each other and it'll be a bloodbath. And then by the time they get to Tallarico, it's like which wounded candidate will be able to get over the hump.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting. I've been hearing a lot of people, specifically Black people, being worried that, Tallarico would be like Fetterman and get in office and switch his politics and all that good stuff.
Oh.
So I think that
John Fetterman, the Pennsylvania senator.
Yeah. Who was like heavily Democrat in the running and then got into office and flipped essentially. Mm-hmm. And I think that Jasmine Crockett endorsing Tallarico, I think will really honestly, I'm not saying it'll sway all Black voters. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that it will really, really open up and give Black voters kind of permission to vote for Tallarico. And I genuinely think that's going to make a difference.
And now it's all about unifying either party to get to November.
Like, that's where I'm going.
I know that we always have this conversation if Texas is going to turn blue, purple, whatever, and everybody's really excited, or I won't say everybody. I think Democrats are really excited about the turnout numbers, thinking like, oh, this is showing that it's going to happen. And it doesn't necessarily mean that. I mean, it all depends on if they can keep the unity, the momentum, the messaging, everything going. And same with Republicans. There was this quote that I thought was really good in Vote Hub that said, although Texas remains a long shot for Democrats, a difficult national environment for Republicans, combined with a bruising GOP runoff, keeps the race within the realm of possibility. So they're just saying there's a chance. That's all they're saying at this point.
Yeah, I think people are just scared to say, rightfully so, scared to say, yes, it can flip blue because it hasn't. But like they're sort of alluding to, this is the makeup of what it would look like if it were to flip blue. People being very careful to say, it will, but I mean, you got the economy, you got Trump's approval rating rather low. Yeah. So there's a lot of things definitely that are favor Democrats. But once again, people have to get out and vote at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of which, everybody, don't forget the runoff is May 26th. Runoffs are just as important. Please get out. You got, of course, Republican nominee for U.S. Senator Ken Paxton and John Cornyn. Democratic nomination for Lieutenant Governor Vicki Goodwin versus Marcus Velez.
I actually spoke with State Representative Vicki Goodwin, and she thought now that, that Senate race is decided on the Democrat side, technically she's now at the top of the ticket. And so maybe she'll be able to garner more attention towards her race and do a good job against Marcos Velez, who, she has more experience than him, obviously, but he has the AFL-CIO backing him. He seems like the more union and labor guy. And so I think it'll still be a tough race, actually, to decide. Definitely the way I look at it is 20% voted for the third person there. So who gets that 20%? And my really quick thoughts are just well, if they voted for a person that wasn't an elected official, maybe they're voting because they don't want an elected official in that position. And so does Marcos Velez get that 20%? If he does, then obviously he win. But it'll still be interesting. We'll still have to wait and see exactly how that one comes out.
We got Democratic nomination for State Representative District 49, Kathy Tovo versus Montserrat Garibay. Travis County Commissioner Precinct 4, Southeast County runoff between Susana Ledesma Woody and George Morales III. That one is I got my eye on that one. I don't know why. I felt I don't know why I did not know that would be that close.
It was really
I thought
close.
George Morales was going to just take it. I thought he was going to take it. So that has been a really interesting one for me.
I think that one is just because there were, I think, like 9 candidates. Like, it's no way somebody's going to get to 50% when you have that many candidates. And so it just makes it a lot harder to avoid a runoff. Because it's an open
seat, because it was, whose was that?
Exactly. That was Hinojosa's seats.
Oh, Hinojosa's seat. Okay,
yeah, that was Hinojosa's seat. And so I think what happens there is just, the seat is open, so a lot of people try to go get it. Garibay seems like the person coming in with the more, support from other Democrats. Representative Greg Casar has backed her. She's already been in the U.S. Department of Education official and a longtime public school educator. So that'll be really interesting. Although Kathy Tovo, I think I hear her name more. I wouldn't be surprised if Garibay, with those, people backing her, can sort of, edge her out when it comes to their runoff. So that'll be an interesting one to look forward to because, like I said before, that person will just go right into the seat. They're not running against anybody else in the general election that will really have a chance. Definitely here in Austin, as you saw, 30% of people voted and only 6% of those were voting Republican.
Yeah, I feel like Kathy Tovo has, as a former city councilwoman, a lot of people know that name.
And really, while this is a runoff, this is really the general election. Like, a Democrat will likely win this seat no matter what. Same with that other seat.
Commissioner Precinct 4.
Yeah, the Commissioner Precinct 4. Whoever wins this runoff wins the race because there's not a Republican on the other side. So some people may, not going to say fall asleep, but get sort of tired, like, oh, man, didn't we just vote in March? We have to vote again in May. But you do have to vote again. And this vote will actually, determine who will be in that seat.
And also for runoff is both Republican and Democratic nominees for Attorney General. So Chip Roy versus Mays Middleton on the Republican side, and Nathan Johnson and Joe Jaworski for the Democratic side. Y'all, that's a lot.
They got to keep going.
This runoff ballot is going to be pretty long as well. I know the regular ballot was, but this runoff one will be long as well for the people that decide to go in and vote.
Right. And just another thing to remind everybody, you can only vote in the runoff with the party that you voted for in the primaries. And so that's that. But if you did not vote in the primaries, you can still vote in the runoff, and you can choose between, which party you want to vote for. So you can still vote. Even if you didn't vote in the primaries, you can still get out there and vote in this runoff if you want to.
That'll be even, more enticing for candidates to get out and try to bring out new voters to participate in the runoff, which runoff is already really low. Like we saw 30% here in Austin. Will that 30% come back out, or will it be new voters who come in to decide who wins the race? My thoughts are, if you didn't vote in the primary, that it's highly likely you're going to vote in a runoff. But you never know. Maybe they see, oh, it's a runoff.
People, if you want to mess it up, if you want to mess with, if you want to vote against someone more, you know what I mean? I see what
you're saying. You could just jump into the Democrat or Republican primary at this point, even if you don't really want that person to win. You just want say if you don't want Paxton, so you go in and vote Cornyn, or you want, opposite. I can see how that can get messy, and maybe that's why the messaging. Yeah, it would take a lot of motivation and a huge grassroots organization to get people to go out and that already didn't participate. Now you're asking them to go participate in the opposite party primary that they actually want to vote for. A long shot, but it could happen. I think one thing as a reporter, and I think just covering politics, is you never can expect something. You can't say oh, this for sure won't happen, because there's a chance that it could be.
That's right. You never know.
Well, we shall see. Blaze, thank you for being on and talking to us about this. This was awesome, as usual. All right. Well, we'll probably have you back here in May so we can talk about this again.
Yes.
Yeah,
we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, we're in for the long haul.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Bye. Hey y'all, it's Eva Ruth. Austin news has really been keeping me busy lately, but the one thing that's helped me keep my cool is my Doer jeans. I'm not kidding. They're comfortable enough to sit on the floor of a packed press conference, and they look polished enough to meet up for dinner downtown when the work is done. They're truly high-quality denim. Plus, these jeans are antimicrobial, and they're made from these Coolmax fibers that help regulate your temperature, literally keeping you cool. Dewar's denim and lifestyle apparel is made for us to move freely without sacrificing comfort or style. So if you don't have your own pair of Dewar's yet, now is the time. Check out shopdewar.com/CCAustin and you'll get 15% off of your first order. That's shopdeuer.com/CCAustin.
Hey y'all, so you may have noticed it's warming up outside and pretty soon it'll be time to run the AC. And if you're like me, you are not looking forward to that summertime energy bill. Well, why not start thinking about how to make your home more energy efficient right now? Window Nation can replace your old or builder grade windows with custom built, high quality windows at a great price. And right now, the more you buy, the more savings you can enjoy, like up to 50% off all window styles. And in case you've forgotten, they have over 1,500 styles and colors to choose from. And if 50% is just not enough to convince you, they have finance options, including $0 down and payments as little as $199 a month. Window Nation has a 96% customer satisfaction rating, and there's a lifetime warranty on all of their windows. So you can relax knowing your home is protected far into the future. So schedule a fast, free estimate now at windownation.com. Welcome back, Alyssa.
Yay, hello.
So, all right. It's been just over a week since the West 6th Street shooting that left 3 people and the gunman dead and injured 15 other people. The shooting happened early in the morning on March 1st, West 6th Street at Rio Grande at Buford's. But now Buford's has reopened while the investigation into the shooting continues. So, Eva Ruth, bring us up to speed about where we are now.
Yes. Well, the FBI and Austin Police Department continue to investigate. And in the past few days, we have learned more about the suspected shooter, Indiaga Diagne. Like you mentioned, he was shot and killed by police at the shooting, too. One interesting thing that we've learned about him, people are going through his court records and all of his past history. APD has already said that they didn't have any interactions with him and he wasn't on the FBI's radar either. But he had apparently been involved, or he's accused, I guess, of being involved in this incident that happened at Tesla where he used to work. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. So, a Tesla employee by the name Lillian Mendoza Brady was a coworker of Diagne's. She filed this lawsuit on Thursday after the mass shooting, even though the assault allegedly happened in early December.
So he attacked her while she was praying?
While he was praying. So yeah, he
was on a prayer break. Okay.
He was on a prayer break. She had gone to Tesla after the assault happened, asking for the name of this employee, and she's saying that they refused to give the name to her. So it wasn't until after this mass shooting happened that pictures of him were circulating that she put 2 and 2 together and determined that this was the man who allegedly assaulted her. So yeah, she's following this lawsuit saying Tesla should have had knowledge of his volatile temperament and propensity for aggression, because there was a civil court judge in Bexar County, which is in San Antonio, in 2022, who found Diagne had a history or pattern of committing family violence, which he then granted his wife full custody of their children. So Brady is saying, he did have this background, they should have known, and because they didn't do anything to intervene or give his name to her, she's suing them. Brady is seeking over $1 million in monetary relief for physical pain, mental anguish, lost wages, physical impairment, and medical expenses.
Yeah.
It's hard. This is hard. And listen, nobody, I hate the idea of taking up for Tesla Or, I hate the idea, but I am really curious. So I'm just asking the
Or
question.
taking the side against the woman who's claiming she was assaulted.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. Yeah, it's so hard.
Exactly. So I'm just asking a question. When you do background checks
Right.
for an employee, what comes up on the background check? And I am asking this question because I'm not sure.
Right.
I thought that when you do a background check, the only thing that shows up are like criminal offenses that you've been like punished for, that you have a record for. So I don't know.
Not divorce cases,
not
civil
divorce
cases.
and not civil cases. And so I just don't know how
they would have known anyway.
They would have known, which is
right.
terrible.
It is terrible.
For her too. I mean, shit.
I can't imagine seeing the news and seeing somebody's face who you were like, oh, that person did assault me. Like that. Yeah. That's a really terrifying kind of combination of things.
Yeah, I will say though, when the assault happened and she went to Tesla asking for this man's name so she could formally press charges against him, they didn't give it to her. So that is also a confusing point of why didn't they give it to her? And then this is the way she finds out again in this probably really traumatizing.
Very.
And that's another thing she's saying, is that these areas weren't supervised in any way. So she's saying that
like common areas
at work are kind of set up for bad things to happen because they're not supervised, or I guess there's no cameras maybe. I'm not really sure. But so that's another charge she's pressing against Tesla.
That is like a strange juxtaposition, I think, because, Nikki, as you mentioned, one of the videos that APD recently released of all the shooting, they released like a body-worn camera and a few other videos kind of trying to take us through what happened. And one of the videos apparently was from a parked Tesla that was off and records when motion comes by, or it's triggered by motion. So if you got cameras on the cars while they're off. But you have
cameras in your common areas at work? That don't make sense to me. Y'all, listen, I'm a little shook about this still. They think that the video footage came from a Tesla because Tesla has 8 to 9 cameras, 360 around like 5 of their different types of cars. The Cybertruck, the Y class, the 3 or whatever, all of them have 360 cameras. And those cameras record when you get close to the car. And so Tesla is just recording folks, as a side note, in general, if you get close to their cars,
but
you're on camera.
Not in their facilities.
But not in their facilities in the common areas. So yeah.
It's a lot. And I think there is a lot of like digital footage still that they're going through. Like also on Friday of last week, the FBI, released a statement saying kind of where they were with the investigation, not releasing any real new information, but just saying there were like 150 FBI personnel who have been working on, trying to figure out what led to his actions, and that they've served 38 subpoenas and 8 search warrants, and they've gathered more than 2,000 digital images of him overall. So, there's still a lot to sift through, but like we haven't really heard more about this whole nexus of terrorism thing that they just threw out there the day after the shooting, or the day of the shooting. I'm very curious to see what else comes out of that.
Same.
But I think that from what I've gathered, it was like a nice, Buford's was, had a crowd.
The owner sat outside the bar, thanked people for coming in, Bob Woody.
Oh.
He says, there's no rule book on how to do this, but you got to do things to help. You got to stand up. So listen, say what you want about Bob Woody. The man owns half of the bars downtown. So he's been doing this for a while. It seems like they made the decision to reopen as a team. They had an all-staff meeting, and he essentially asked everyone who wanted to reopen to just raise their hands. And he said everyone but one person agreed.
Oh.
And, all of the donations from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to the victims' families, they've already raised $10,000. Like, it's a really big deal. I had to drive by because I'm nosy. And there were people there. It was sparse. There was not a lot of people there. It wasn't like it normally is, but there were people out there. The cops were there. They had Rio Grande blockade, and then two cars positioned there, so you can't go down that street. But yeah, there were people there. They were out and about, and I guess our account exec Dan was there too, right?
He was. Dan was there, and he reported back to us that the atmosphere was lively and supportive, and a lot of regulars were there. They kind of want to proceed with business as usual. Solidarity was being shown, and a lot of service industry folks and stuff like that. So
that's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that. So, this will still be unfolding like we keep saying, but it's nice to have kind of like, they're opening back out. They're trying to get back to normal. They're trying to honor the people that we've lost by raising money for them and giving that money to their families. I think that's a really good way to do it and kind of turn something that's terrible into something that's good. So hell yeah, Austin, keep it up.
Way to go.
And I think there's also a 5K that's happening on Saturday at it's a fundraiser also, and it starts at Juliet's on Barton Springs. So I'm sure people will be participating in that too, but just something to keep in mind.
Hey y'all, I have to tell you about this new exhibit at the Blanton Museum of Art. It brings together some of today's most renowned digital artists. It's called Run the Code. And this unique immersive art experience is a collaboration between the Blanton and the Toma Foundation. Y'all, this is the first exhibition of its kind at the Blanton, and it's exclusively dedicated to digital art. It complements the museum's vast, thought-provoking collection, and it vibes with Austin's robust tech community and its role as one of the fastest growing tech hubs in the U.S. Plus, visitors can directly engage with several of the works. The Blanton is the only current venue in the world for Run the Code. The exhibition is currently not scheduled to travel anywhere else. So make sure you check it out. Run the Code is on display at the Blanton from March 8th through August 2nd. You can find more information and tickets at blanton.org.
Hey y'all, it's Eva Ruth. I don't know about you, but I feel like this time of year in Austin, the one thing that is consistent is that the weather is constantly changing. Our mornings can be really chilly, so you gotta have your layers, but by the afternoon, you're burning up and peeling these layers off. So the one thing that I'm reaching for constantly is my Doer Shacket. That's right, a shirt jacket. It's a perfect neutral color, and it's made from this super high quality fabric that is so comfortable and cozy. And their clothing is really versatile. You can wear this jacket dressed up, dressed down, dressed all around. Doer's denim and lifestyle apparel is made for us to move freely without sacrificing comfort or style. And that sounds perfect for us Austinites. So if you don't have your own Doers yet, now is the time to check them out. Go to shopdoer.com/CC Austin and you'll get 15% off of your first order. That's shopdoer.com/CC Austin.
South by Southwest is upon us. It is starting on Thursday, full on. And so, if you're the type of local that really wishes you could just leave the city during this time, because I know a lot of us do, there's a new article on Eater that provides a map and a list of 14 restaurants within 90 miles of Austin to try. So it's like a restaurant road trip. So, South by is happening the 12th through the 18th of March. And, in case you want to just get away from the crowds and the chaos, the list is organized from shortest drive to longest drive. And so you can plan anything from like a casual afternoon to a full day foodie trip. And it's got, some of our favorites that we've absolutely talked about on the podcast and the newsletter. It's got Barb's Barbecue in Lockhart, Snow's Barbecue in Lexington, Burnt Bean in Seguin, The Coast.
Oh my gosh.
Evil Ruth's favorite. And the Cosi in San Antonio, which is led by my favorite executive chef, Tavel Bristol Joseph of Kanji. But there were two that I saw that I've never heard of that I really want to go visit. So first one is Leche de Tigre. And it's a Michelin recommended Peruvian cevicheria. Yeah.
A fishery.
Yeah. So they're saying it brings bright, acidic flavors and polished pisco cocktails. It's in San Antonio's Southtown neighborhood, and they specialize in various ceviches.
Oh, yum. What a great thing to specialize in.
Yeah. So an hour and a half away, Leche de Tigre. It sounds delicious. Peruvian ceviche. And then the second thing is Royer's Round Top Cafe. And, everybody knows Round Top is Antique Heaven. It's a dessert-forward cafe.
Ooh. Who doesn't love a dessert-forward cafe?
I know. And they're known for their pies, but they have a really good savory menu that specializes in heavy, high-end proteins. I guess.
Great.
So we're talking meat. Yum.
Yeah, meat, steaks and hearty plates like fried green tomatoes. They have a beef tenderloin sandwich. They have a 16-ounce rack of lamb.
I'm drooling.
And they have shrimp and grits. So,
Yum.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I'm like shrimp and grits and pie. Yeah. And
Sign me up.
and that's right down the street at Round Top. Also on this list are two places that I'm just going to personally recommend. First up is Best Quality Daughter.
Solid.
Best Quality Daughter is in San Antonio's Pearl District. And it's like Asian American comfort food. And it's in this cute, they call it highly stylized maximalist setting in a historic 1900s house. They've got like crossovers like dan noodles tossed with Wagyu gizzada and salt and pepper shrimp, which I had and was delicious. And the Korean corn cheese egg rolls, also delicious.
Yum.
They're good. It's really good place for big groups. We went there after my friend's naturalization ceremony. Delicious.
And they're also, Best Quality Daughter is open until 10.
Nice.
And they have a happy hour Monday through Friday, 3 to 6. Yeah.
And then the other place, Rushkas. I always say it wrong, but it's a family. Rushkas. I've talked about this before. It's a family-owned stop in Ellinger, and that's on the way to Houston. It's on 71, heading towards Houston. It's been on the 71 corridor since 1912. They have 16 different flavors of kolaches, and the recipe is a century old.
That's
nice. And it's
wild.
like a gas station and a general store, and y'all, it's so cute. You have to stop there if you're going to Houston via 71. I'm so glad it made the list.
I love Texas's kolache culture. I just think it's so good. They're so delicious. And people who don't live in Texas are just so unfamiliar with this
They're
delicious
like, oh, so it's
treat.
a pig in a blanket?
And it's like, no, it's a kolache.
No, honey. It's a kolache.
You can get savory, you can get jam-filled, okay? It's delish. I haven't been to any of these places, but...
Really?
They're definitely like some of these barbecue places are for sure on my list. It's just like, I don't know. It's hard to travel somewhere else for barbecue when you have great barbecue right here in Austin, but I do want to try it.
It is, and like I like the idea of getting out of the city while everybody else is here.
Yes.
Like, I wonder if it would be a good time to go to like a barbecue,
Yeah,
or
maybe.
if they're going to be slammed by
Or if
South
that's
by.
too close.
Yeah, but
that's true.
that's the top of my list right now. Is I need to get to barbecue.
Same.
Me too.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I still haven't been. I can't believe I have not been yet. I need to get there. But Lockhart is so close. There's a really good chance that they will be just as slammed
I know.
during South by. But I'm you guys
especially, I don't know if y'all have seen this, but Chuck Charnacart from Barbecue and Johnny White from Goldie's Barbecue are opening a new place called Kirby's in New York. So I bet there'll be some New Yorkers who are like, let me go and try the OG.
Oh, they're going to freak out. They're going to love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is our news for Tuesday. That's our Tuesday News Roundup.
Woohoo!
Thank y'all so much for being on. And thank you to Blaze for being on as well. This has been great.
Got it all done. Everything you
all
need to know.
done.
I'm newsed up.
We brought you up to speed. Eva, Ruth, Alyssa, thank you so much for talking about the news with me on this beautiful Tuesday.
No problem. Bye.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye.
That's all for today here on CityCast Austin. We'll have links to Blaze's reporting in our show notes. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend that you want to leave the city during South by Southwest for? Tell somebody that wants to go with you to San Antonio. Rate our show. Leave us a review. And of course, subscribe to our CityCast Austin newsletter. And you know what? If you really love us and you love supporting us and you want to do cool shit with us and have events and get swag and have us talk about you on the podcast and the newsletter, become a neighbor today. Go to membership.citycast.fm. You will get a fist bump from me when I see you when you join. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye, y'all.